Welcome to this episode of Haunted Hour Podcast. This week I have a special treat, haunted travel, hotels. I have a guest, Courtney Mroch from Haunt Jaunts, and let's get right into the episode. Okay, so I have Courtney here with me from Haunt Jaunts, and we're going to talk about some of your haunted travel, which I'm really excited to catch up with you because I've been watching like your different trips you've been posting on Instagram, and I know you love like Alaska, and there's certain places that you go to a lot. And so you sent me some photos, and we're going to go like talk about some of your trips. So I'm pretty excited.
Cool. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, totally. I'm really happy to have you here. Okay, I'll pop this up.
Okay.
And then, so we have bathroom ghosts, which, why is that a thing?
I don't know. And this one, I like to call it the possessive potty poltergeist, because whatever is haunting there is a little possessive of that stall, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, in your note to me, you said, did somebody commit suicide in there?
Yeah, it was a lady, and it was, I want to say it was like New Year's Eve, or they were celebrating the grand opening of the second tower, which I'm not sure in that photo next to which one was first or second. I want to say the closest one to us might be, but I'm not positive. Whichever one it was, they were celebrating, and she got real mad about something, and the story is a little convoluted, but apparently she went down in the bathroom, was like 2 a.m, and she shot herself. So that was a little sad.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I want to say 1972, but I'm not positive about the date. But then ever since then, and the thing that's interesting about this story is not a lot of people know about it. Like, it wasn't, maybe at the time it was big, but I don't even think it made the news. So it's interesting that people experience things in that stall, and there's not even really like, documented, verified information. But and then these pictures are inside. Well, so the one with all the people, that's us on the ghost tour. All the ladies could go into the bathroom, and they have that stall permanently locked, which on that other screen, they had the stall, there's a bolt in it. And I didn't think to do it. The lady that's in the stall with her camera up, she actually got on the toilet and then looked over to click, because they said it's permanently bolted shut. And I didn't do that. I didn't even think, at first I didn't even know what she's doing. I thought she's just taking a picture of the toilet. I'm like, it's a toilet. Why would you take a picture of that? But so we were all in there, and then that's like the shot, the middle one's a shot of the stalls, and then it would be on the left, the very end one. And then that's the bathroom. There's 2 bathrooms downstairs, one on that end of the floor, I guess, and then another one all the way on the other end. It's a really big hotel. So it's kind of cool that, and for some reason I love bathroom ghosts. I don't know why, but I just think it's so crazy. Like, why are you in the stalls with people? But this one, like, she would shake people have reported, visibly seeing the stall shake, and then having their ankles grabbed while they're on the toilet. I'm like, no. That would probably, most ghost things don't scare me. I would be happy I was on a potty, because things would happen.
Right? Yeah, that sounds like my worst nightmare. Of all the different scenarios that could happen, being on the toilet, that would really be bad. But that reminds me of, first of all, what hotel is this and what city is it in?
Oh, Captain Cook Hotel in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay, so this is an Alaskan ghost. Interesting. When I was at the California Theater in San Bernardino, California, they also had a bathroom ghost, and it was the same thing. And it was a stall, but that stall was still like you could use it, but people reported having issues with some kind of a ghost activity in that one particular stall. And so the only thing I could think of is that my cat Gemini, and she's my kind of weird one because she's been almost to the other side, right? She hangs out in the bathroom during certain times. She'll just, in the dark, you'll walk into the bathroom and she'll just be sitting there by the mirror on the sink. So I don't know, and I always feel like she's my spiritual one, So I don't know if there's something about that ghosts would want to be in the bathroom, or because there's a lot of mirrors in the bathroom that makes it easier for them. Yeah, the water, like there's a lot of different things that are going on that maybe, me personally, I'm not going to be haunting a bathroom. No, thank you.
And that one you were talking about, was that the one where you were sitting in there or something and then something happened? Like there was maybe somebody walked by, or I don't know if you were in the bathroom or even if it was that place, but I want to say you were on a ghost tour and so whoever you were with, it was you and another girl, and you saw something, or like a REM pod, something happened, but I don't know if that was the place.
We went in there by ourselves and everybody else was down in another room, and she thought she saw somebody go out of the stall. And so we went to the end of the bathroom, but there's no exit down there. And so then we started like doing stuff. So she went out to talk to the people about her, get another piece of equipment. And of course, while she was gone and I wasn't filming, I asked a question, and the K2 meter went all the way to red. And that's literally the only time ever that K2 meter has done anything. So unless I'm holding it up to actual electricity. And I was standing like in the middle of the bathroom and it just went up. And then she comes in, and I think I was recording but not making a video. And you hear me say to her, it just went to red. And then when we left the bathroom, because we didn't get the story about the haunting until after we came out of the bathroom, and he told us that was what it was, is that people would see somebody coming out of a stall. So what a nightmare to be like, that's your end of you're just constantly going to the bathroom. That's why they're so angry. I would be mad too. And what's interesting, if you look at the one photo where the stalls look like they're either black or really dark, but you can see her reflection in the stall.
In the one with the lady taking the picture. Yeah. And they were showing us pictures, like the ghost tour guide, Richard. He some people had in the mirrors, they have, when you first walk, where you watch this, they have mirrors, and some people had caught a photo. It almost looks like a lady kind of watching them, like in the background. It was freaky. I'm like, yeah, if I saw that, I probably would never use that bathroom again. Yeah. But it's just interesting.
So she was reflecting off of the black doors.
It was in the mirror part. I don't know if I took a picture of that or not, but
I was thinking, like, looking at that, like that would be a good, like investigative.
You saw that?
Oh, yeah, because
smart.
I mean, yeah, like to try to like even like scry into the walls or the doors, because something could appear behind you. Who knows?
Ooh.
Maybe.
If I ever get to go back, I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, you definitely have to put the camera like into the stall. Just to take a photo.
That would be even better, because you can get under there or over, but then you wouldn't have your reflection.
Yeah.
Ooh, good thinking.
Yeah, I would try that. I would say something like, can you appear to me in this reflective door? And then say, why are you here?
What are you doing? And please don't grab my ankles.
I don't like that at all. All right, let me see what else I have here. Let's see. Okay, this is also Alaska.
Yes, it's sort of just right down the street, sort of. It's the historic Anchorage Hotel, and it's so charming. It's almost more like a B&B. The Captain Cook is, much bigger, more like a conference area, and this one's much more intimate. And I think they have, I don't remember how many rooms. I should have looked at that. But out of however many they have, only 2 they've never had a report of activity in.
Yeah.
And they were saying that those two are they're like out of all, out of our rooms, the most requested are those two because they have people are like, I just want to sleep. I don't want to deal with little kids appearing or running around my bed or, other
Wow.
things. So it's very interesting. And then I really like, I know you stayed at some hotels like that too, that put the books with the people's stories. So
Yeah.
it's right there on their coffee table and you can just walk in and read them. It's really cool.
Wow. What kind of like stories did people have? Do you remember any of them?
I don't remember. I know children came up an awful lot, like 2
Huh.
kids, and they would jump on the bed,
Oh, wow.
and I wanna say that somebody died, like a child got sick, but I don't know that they died in the hotel, but they were in the hotel. Maybe the mom was a cleaner, I'm not sure, and then they rushed the kid to the hotel, but I mean, to the hospital, but the kid died. I'm not sure. I might be confusing that with another hotel, but I do remember that ghost children were
Huh. Is that the one
definitely.
where you guys like there was something with the drawer opening and
No, that
that's a
was
different one?
at yeah, I didn't have any good pictures of that hotel, but that was the Shiloh Inn in Utah. And that
Okay.
one was where I was like, all right, there's kids in the drawer there. Why are kids in the drawer? I mean, it was so visceral. I had to get up and check. And then that's when later I found out a lady had murdered her third or 7 children,
Oh,
thrown them out of the window, and then she jumped too. So that
oh
was
my
horrible. I was
God.
like, "Oh my god, that actually happened there?" It was a very shocking. That's, I think, what started my whole haunted hotel. And then the bathroom thing was like the next time I had an experience, it was in a bathroom. So I was like, "Okay, between hotels and bathrooms, I know where it all stems from, but."
I
So
agree. I love staying at haunted hotels because it's like just to go like on a ghost investigation is fun, but like to sleep at the location, like you really because when everybody's asleep and it's just a whole different, vibe. And I feel like, especially like sleeping there, you're more vulnerable, you know. Like, have you had of all the places you've stayed, have you ever had weird dreams staying in a haunted hotel?
yeah, at the Driscoll, I had weird dreams, and I remember I mean, I always have weird dreams, so that's kind of hard to, say if it would be the hauntedness affecting me at all because that's pretty much standard my nightly dreaming. But when we were at the Driscoll, um, Wayne, he was so funny. He was sleeping next to me, and I was on the side closest to the window, and I thought he'd walked around to get the remote, and I was like, "Oh, I just got to sleep. Why are we getting up so early?" And then from his side of the bed, he said, "Do you hear that?" And I was like, what do you mean if that's not you over here? What is happening? And then I think I was like falling in and out of a dream. And I had this image of something mean and mad coming at me. And I was trying to fight it and keep it away. But I was in that bed. I mean, it wasn't like I was somewhere else. I just felt like the struggle. So it was kind of
Wow.
weird. But yeah.
Yeah. That is kind of weird because that's, I mean, even though you have unusual dreams, everybody's dreams are unusual, really. I actually read a study that if your dreams are just like very, like people who are autistic or schizophrenic, that you would think they would have like crazy dreams, but they have very flat dreams that are kind of very regular and everyday. So having bizarre dreams is actually more common because the general public, we're all having what we think are crazy dreams, but it's just like our subconscious trying to figure it out. But I feel like that sounds a little more like you heard footsteps and then you fell asleep and then something's like, attacking you?
Yeah, it
Maybe.
felt almost like an attack, which I've never had that, and I'm always so suspicious of those sort of things, and I've
Right.
learned, like, the more suspicious I am, then eventually it could happen to you, like, just try to believe or try to keep an open mind, which I'm terrible about because I just don't do it's not my nature. I'm like, I
Yeah.
wanna figure out, like, why did that happen to you? What was happening in the background? I just have it's gotta have a reason, and sometimes things don't. But, I mean but like what you're saying, it has a reason, like, maybe it could have been something and I don't think the Driscoll is really known for malicious entities, but it could have just been my heightened like, oh my God, this is happening. And then also like, oh my God, I was more worried, like, if Wayne flips out, he'll never let me stay in a haunted hotel again. So this has to be just like, blow this off, and I think it was just a lot of nerves from that.
Could be, yeah. Like he was the image of him saying, "We're not staying at haunted hotels anymore."
Yeah, like, no, it's my favorite thing. No.
That's funny because my husband, the last hotel we stayed at the Palomar Hotel in California, Temecula.
Mhm.
And so it was a whole ghost hunt. It was like an overnight ghost hunt because it was a hotel. So it was, and you know him, Craig Owens.
Yeah.
He hosted it. And so it was like 10 of us, and we each had our own room. Each couple had their own room. And so we had gone to bed. We started to go like to bed around 2:00, 2:30 in the morning. I think it was about that time. And it was really late. And so I was asking for more, from the spirits. And all of a sudden you clearly hear somebody walk around the bed. And I'm like, you hear me in the like recording. I'm like, do you hear that? And he's the one, he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what is it? He's so like, oh yeah, I hear it.
That's hilarious. Did you post that anywhere?
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. It's I put my whole, like, I edited it down to the best stuff because I got a female spirit when I was talking to her, and she answered, and we all heard it, and we recorded it. It was like we were all just standing there like, oh my God. So it was
Wow.
it was really neat. Like if you ever get a chance to come out to California, I would recommend staying there. The only thing is it's an Airbnb, so you can literally rent the whole place, and it's like, I want to say it's like 800 during the week. So like if
You
you can
rent the
get like,
whole place?
yeah,
That's
so
it?
yeah, for now until they like realize, wait a minute.
Oh, so you're on a gold mine.
Yeah. Because it only
Wow.
has 2 bathrooms. There's no bathrooms in the rooms. So it's a bathroom at the end of the hall, one for men and one for women, because it's a 1920s hotel, right?
Oh.
But if you're staying with people, who cares? I wouldn't want to stay there with complete strangers because that would be a whole other kind of scary.
Oh, yeah, that could go back to a haunted bathroom thing.
Exactly. So what's this one?
Oh, these are the stairs at the Driscoll, which the story goes that a little girl, I think she was playing with a ball and went down the stairs and then after the ball and then fell and died, broke her neck or hit her head or something. So I was trying to get these photos, and I think the one on the where I'm looking up, I was standing, and they have a really great bar there, and it's just right around the corner and down this corridor. So I was standing there trying to get photos. These people came behind me, and they're like, "Oh, did you see the ghost? Are you looking for the ghost?" I'm like, and as much, which is hard for me to muster, seriousness, I turned around and I was like, "You saw her too?" And they just flipped their face with their jaw dropped. It was so funny. And I just started laughing. They were like, "Wait, is she joking? What just happened here?"
Or is she hysterical?
It was so
They're like,
funny.
oh my God, she's possessed now. You could have really rolled with that one.
It was awesome. But then the Driscoll was cool because when we checked in, they have like an older section and a newer section. We were in the newer section, but I knew they had a ghost sheet that if you ask the concierge, they'll, tell you the ghost stories. And while we were there, the bellman was there and we had just checked in. It was like, I want to say it was in the morning, like maybe 11. They let us check in early and stuff. Or it could have been 2. I don't know. I want to say it was a morning though. And he's like, "Oh, did you have some activity?" Because most people come down and, inquire. I'm like, "No, we just got here." But I heard that he's like, "Oh, well, let me tell you." And he's like, "Which side are you saying?" He's like, "That's too bad." And he took us in the elevator, took us all around the floors, was telling us about things that the housekeeping had experienced, rooms they really don't like. They'll only go in there 2 at a time. How this heavy thing, it was a picture frame-ish thing, but it was around what's that? I want to say the fire hose for, emergency for the
Yeah.
fire department. He's like, move this, try to move this. So we're trying to move it, finally pop it off. He goes, this thing security was downstairs one night and it just swung open by itself. It's not
Oh,
like a breeze is going to knock that.
yeah.
It was a very substantial, I mean, you really had to tug. So it was interesting to hear. It was like a
Huh.
private ghost tour inside. Like
Yeah.
he just did it. And I was like, he didn't know who I was other than
Right.
I just checked in. I was like,
Yeah.
you have no idea. And he showed us this picture of this lady in they have, I guess it's not a ballroom, but they use it for dances. It's like a big area. And there was a ghostly, like she looked maybe from the 30s or 40s in this gown. It wasn't
Wow.
a gown, it was just a nice dress, but it was so cool. I'm like, "Oh, wow, that really looks like." I mean, it looked much different than most, how some of the ghost photos anymore, this looked really different, like,
Yeah.
that
You just
actually could be something,
yeah.
so it was
Oh
interesting.
my God, that's lucky to get somebody. And it makes me wonder where this guy is now. Did he end up doing more ghost tours and
I
you
don't
know?
know. That's a great question because we stayed there right before um the pandemic started, right before lockdowns. So I don't know what happened to him, but I've always wanted to thank him. So if by any chance you ever worked at the Driscoll as a bellman in
Courtney
2020
wants to talk to you.
January, yeah, thank you.
Huh. Okay. Let's see. Is this
Oh
also the
yeah,
Driscoll?
that's the Driscoll. Yeah, that's the stairs to going up
Yeah.
that way. And then if you go up the stairs and continue through, that goes to the bar.
God, that's so beautiful.
It's
That's like a
really
stained glass light?
Yeah, isn't
It's
that so
huge.
incredible?
Oh my God. I love that place. This is why I love the older hotels. Like, I mean, look at the floors and stuff, the
They just
architecture.
have personality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're
much
not
more interesting. Oh my
the what
God.
do you call that now? So sterile and yeah, I like the
Yeah.
older ones too.
Yeah. I mean, I like modern, but there's something about this that's just, it's like walking into the past. Like, it's amazing.
I
Um,
agree.
those stairs, those look like stairs you would fall down. You know what I mean? They just have that look.
They're just a little, yeah.
And is
And
that
then
the outside?
no, this one
That's
is the Pfister in Milwaukee, and this
oh,
is the one, like, I just saw, and it kinda reminded me of it because a lot of the Major League Baseball players, when they go to play the Milwaukee team, they don't like to stay in the hotel because they think it's haunted, but
oh,
that the first part of it is the old part, and then that round part behind, that's the new
okay.
part. So the new part they say doesn't have as much hauntings, but the old part does. Or but when we stayed there, the guy was like, the only how did he put it? The only you'll only receive the spirit of hospitality here. The ghost stories are a joke or something. He was
Oh,
really cute about it, but we didn't have anything happen. But I thought, well, maybe they just only haunt the MLB players and not regular old.
maybe. Because they probably tend to stay in the rooms alone, right? I don't know if they double them up, but I wouldn't think so if they're,
They're major. Yeah, I don't
celebrity players, they're
players.
gonna want their own stuff. That's a beautiful, like, I love the way it looks on the outside. It looks haunted to me.
Yeah, it looks like it should have, yeah,
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's really cool.
Let's see. And
Oh,
that's the
and
inside?
yeah, and the lobbies on the well, both of them are the lobby, but the ceiling, I didn't get a very good photo, but it's another one where the ceiling's beautiful art. I mean, it's like, wow, just
Yeah.
breathtaking.
Oh, it is. It's beautiful. I love it.
And
It looks like they just kept it original and just kept up with it.
yes, they're very, very proud of their hotel and its history, and they even have books in the room or the room we stayed in. I think they kind of bumped us well, originally I'd put us in the old section, but then when I was talking about the ghosts, he's like, "Well, I'll tell you what I can do. Not that I'm saying we have ghosts, but if you were going to have an experience, it would be in the older section. So they put us, I think, just on the second floor, and it was in the older section, but it was like a suite, and it had a nice sitting room and then great bathroom, the nice big bed. And they had a book in there about the hotel. It didn't mention any hauntings, but just, everything that the architecture and all that went into it. It's really pretty amazing.
I feel like I recently heard a story on the news where there was some kind of sports players and they all stayed in one hotel except for one guy refused to stay there.
I think it could be this one.
See, to me, that gives it a lot of credibility as being haunted, because that many people, and then somebody actually isn't going to stay there.
Yeah, they're like, no thanks, I won't sleep there.
Yeah, and everybody else is staying there. Like, that would be a huge thing to like be so. I mean, he must have had some kind of experience in the past,
or he's super superstitious, or I don't know, but
yeah,
they're really open about what they've, TV is coming on and feeling people by their beds and really stuff that, I mean, it would be alarming, and you're trying to get a good night's sleep for your game, and then weirdness. So I don't blame them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I want to check that place out. And we think that's like 1800s?
I want to say probably, late 1800s, I think it was first built.
I'm not really good with the architecture and knowing, but
me either.
I mean, it's definitely right around the 1900s.
Yeah, it's somewhere there, because those are my favorites. So it had to have been right around that.
Me too. The whole like Victorian kind of vibe. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. And that's small. Inside the lobby there, they have a time capsule that they put, stuff. So it's right there. And that's the plaque. But there's a, what do you call that? Like a podium column thing. So I got Smalls. He was like, what's a time capsule?
And I saw that, was it 2093 they're going to open? And I'm like, well, I probably won't be alive.
No, I'll be long gone by then, right?
I was like, that's no fun for us.
Yeah,
where's the time capsule when they built the hotel? That's totally unfair. Which reminds me, I remember doing time capsules in the 1970s as a kid. I'm like, when were they supposed to open those? I want to see a time capsule be opened.
And I never got to do one.
Oh,
you should go back and see. Have you opened my time capsule yet?
Yeah. I feel like, I'm going to have to look into that. That just reminded me of that.
Oh, okay. And then this is, the Queen Mary and I'm pretty sure that was our guide, and just the way how those windows, it just sort of blocked him out. But I was like, oh, but that's such a good photo. And the piano, allegedly, if you look into it, you can see the reflection of a ghost. But I thought it was a pretty cool picture that came up. Anyways.
Yeah, I remember when I went to the Queen Mary, they talked about that piano and it being like there's a spirit that's around that piano.
Yeah.
So, and now you'll never know, was it the tour guide or not?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure. It's weird though, because in my memory, I thought he was kind of up in front of the piano more, but it could be he was wearing a jacket, sort of, like a, what do you call those? Like a pullover, like a zip up hoodie kind of a jacket. No, but maybe not. I don't know. So it's kind of fun.
It's like the ghost is like, I'm here, and everybody thinks I'm just like a reflection from the sun. Do you know they opened the Queen Mary back up now?
Is it back open? I knew that it was closed was it renovations or?
Yeah, apparently they had to stabilize it. So they had to whatever they anchor it into the ground, they had to redo that, re-anchor it because it was sinking. So they fixed it. And I mean, everybody thought it was going to be gone because even one of the things they talked about was just dismantling it. But whatever came up, I don't know if it's the city that bought it, whoever bought it, they decided, no, it's going to stay a hotel. Because did you guys sleep there?
Yeah.
And did you stay in
recommended.
Not recommend. Oh, really? Why?
It was so noisy because the walls are the steel or whatever it is. And so the sound carries, and they designed like if you're moving with the engines running, it blocked it out so you wouldn't have noticed. But when it's just like how it was, we might as well just been staying with the people next door. We could hear every. I mean, it was like we were all in the same room. So
Oh my
I
God.
didn't like it too much. I thought the room that we had wasn't so great. It kind of smelled weird and
Oh.
it just looked like it was old. I mean, very old. Everything had dings and it, it didn't look so great. The staff was awesome and to be on it was awesome, but even Wayne was like, "This has got to be the worst one we've ever stayed in."
Wow. So that's interesting. So if you're like ghost hunting and you have to be aware that somebody in the next room could be making a noise and
That
you'll
you're picking up. Yeah.
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 Hmm.
It was super clear. I'm like, wow, okay. So we have to be careful what we're saying. And I mean, it didn't take long because even they're like, who's talking? Is that our next door neighbors? Are they that loud? Oh my gosh, we can hear everything that they're saying. They can hear everything. We're like, it was funny listening to them because they're realizing these walls are so thin.
Oh my God. That's a nightmare too. See, they're haunted, but for different reasons.
Yes.
Oh my God. I would hate that. So then like there's no bathroom privacy or anything, huh?
No.
Oh,
No. It was really awkward.
so then when you're leaving, you like don't like if you guys exit the rooms at the same time, which that's how it ends up happening. You don't want to look at each
You're like,
other. Okay, which one is this one?
oh, and this is at the Biltmore Miami Coral Gables in Florida. And Smalls, he got the kick. So in the lobby, they have those stairs with the gargoyle-y thing. He
Yeah.
thought that was cool. And then, of course, that pool. And then that tower back there in the top floor, there, a guy, I think his name was Thomas Fatty Arbuckle. He was a gangster and he got shot. And so people say he haunts there. But then the hotel was used in the World War II as uh hospital, a veterans hospital,
Oh,
and
wow.
so some soldiers died, and so some people have reported seeing ghosts of soldiers and so forth too. But
Wow.
it's such a beautiful, it's stunning. It's a stunning hotel, and that pool. Wayne said of all the places we've ever stayed, the pool, because where Smalls is sitting, there's actually a lap section, and
Mhm.
people that live in the area come and use that like almost like a country club swimming pool. So people
Oh,
are swimming laps, and
wow. It looks huge. Is it
it's
as big
huge.
as it appears?
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow. Like I
It's
look at
really
that pool and I just want to jump in and like
yeah,
it's almost like you're swimming to a city in the distance.
it's so cool.
So no reports. Have you ever heard of all the haunted travel? Have you ever heard of like ghosts in the swimming pool where people are feel like they're being pulled under or anything like that?
No, but wouldn't that, I mean, Queen Mary, they say our ghosts are in there, but no,
Yeah.
as far as like an actual working, usable, I don't, have you ever heard of?
No, I haven't. But looking at this, it just made me think of that because it's such a long swim, and then what if something is trying to get you? Maybe ghosts can't go into the water. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard, but now I'm gonna be on the lookout.
Yeah. Well, your husband will be really unhappy if you pick up
Yeah, he's like,
because he always
don't
goes
tell me.
swimming.
He loves to swim. That would ruin it.
Oh my God.
That's funny. Oh, and
Oh.
then El Tovar, that's in the Grand Canyon. And I didn't know it was haunted. I don't think we could have stayed when we went because it books up so fast. But it's a great historic haunted hotel, and they had this awesome. They do lunch and dinner. We went to the lunch because we couldn't get into the dinner, and it's this magnificent, just Western, grand old lodge-like hotel in the Grand Canyon, and
Yeah.
then it's haunted with, people have seen apparitions, and the one that caught my interest was somebody had said they saw somebody walking down the steps and then across to, I think it's called the Hopi Lodge or some kind of it's like a store area, store building, and they disappeared, vanished around the corner. So I was like, oh, oh, I hope somebody disappears and comes through now. I was
Yeah.
watching every, am I be real? No.
Oh, right. How do you know which ones are the ghosts? Because they have to disappear at some point.
But it was just so pretty. So Wayne and I
Yeah.
both want to go back to the Grand Canyon, and I'd love to stay at El Tovar.
That looks cool. So is that the type of place where you have to take a train to get to it, or can you actually like drive and park there?
You can drive and park, but they did have a train I noticed that brought people, and I think the train stop was right
Oh,
down from El Tovar. So I think the
uh,
train comes from maybe Flagstaff. I'm not sure where it came
oh,
from, but it looked
oh,
cool.
wow.
I was like, "Ooh, I'd like to do all of that."
Yeah, I have some friends who took the train through the Grand Canyon and they stayed at a couple hotels. So I wonder if that was one of the hotels that they stayed at.
And then that was like, one of the hallways there. And then the doors, I was like, wow, look how intricate these doors are.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I thought was just really, really pretty. So,
Let's see.
and that's the stair. I have a thing for stairs, doors, weird things, but that was the stairs when you first walk into the lobby.
Isn't there something about like stairs, like looking upstairs or even looking down that you always do feel like someone's there or like an empty chair, even long hallways, like when it's empty and there's no one around, don't you always feel like somebody is there, like a presence? Does
Oh,
that ever happen
maybe.
to you?
Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm so interested.
Drawn to take a
Yeah,
photo.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, "Is somebody gonna appear?"
Yeah. Well, I keep doing it. Eventually someone will.
And then I won't know what to do with myself.
I think that looks really beautiful too.
It's real.
I
It's
would think the
so
Grand Canyon would be very haunted because I mean it's so old. Well, obviously everything's old, but I mean just the whole area, like it's within a canyon. I feel like that would have some kind of energy. The whole like West has that kind of energy, I feel like.
I agree. And it's just so magical and mystical in its own, like you said. I mean, it's just a big canyon and it's so pretty. I've forgotten. It'd been a long, long time since I'd been, and I don't think I appreciated it with those eyes like I do with my more mature eyes
Right.
that are still hard to see with now. But I was just so pretty, and I was like, wow. And
Yeah.
there's we went to this cemetery, which the friends we were with was like, "We're gonna go to a why do we wanna go see a cemetery on vacation?" But then they got there and they were like, "Wow, it's the, different shaped headstones," and there was a big, like, monument memorial to a air crash that had happened. I think two planes hit each other,
Oh.
and it was, I think, in the '30s, and it kind of was, it started some of the airline safety stuff.
Oh.
So that was like a historic, crash for that reason. But
Huh.
they got the biggest kick. They're like, we're gonna, and ever since they've gone to more cemeteries just to read the stories and see. They're like, it's
Yeah.
actually, and Mark, the friend we were with, he was so cute. He was straightening pine cones that people had left, and he was kind of tending the gray. It was really sweet.
Aw.
He's like, I really enjoyed that. So
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, people do like if they're not into the paranormal at all and you mention going to a cemetery, they're like, "Oh."
nope.
It's like, "I'm not weird. They're very historic and you can get a lot of
You
information."
can. You never know what you'll get. There's great stories there.
Yeah.
Fun.
See, look at that hallway. Don't you totally like look at that and feel
Okay.
like there's someone down there?
Yeah, or like the twins from The Shining are gonna show up.
Yes. Oh, that's totally. Oh my god. Yeah, like in that hallway's like all dark at the end.
So creepy. Oh,
Oh.
yeah. And then Jekyll. Jekyll has my heart. I don't know why. It's like so Gilded Age. And this is Hollyborn Cottage. And that horse is such a bad picture. But there's a horse. We were in a horse-drawn carriage. The horse's name was Voodoo. And it was a ghost tour. And we pulled up, and the way that the light was shining with the horse, and it's a tabby mixture, which is like seashells and sand and something else that a lot of things are. This was, I think, the only structure there, but in Florida and Georgia, a lot is made that way. And it's a magnificent house, and every time we've seen it, I'm like, oh, it's really pretty, but we never seen it at night. And I didn't know it had a ghost story with it. And
Oh.
allegedly, a little girl, if you go to the front door, which is all glass, she'll appear sometimes behind the door. So, of course, we had to go back, and I almost killed myself going up those stairs to go see if some girl, I'm like, I'm going to become a ghost.
You're going to be the ghost.
But yeah, Jekyll is amazing.
And where is that?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Jekyll Island,
Okay.
Georgia.
So the
And
ghost
these are
tour. Go ahead.
cottages. So that's the Hollyborn cottage that the millionaires like Rockefeller and I can't think of all the big names from, back in the 1900s.
Yeah.
They had their I think it was winter homes, their winter cottages.
Wow.
But they're like a mansion.
10,000 square feet. Oh my gosh. So they actually have a ghost tour where you're in a horse-drawn carriage?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. It was so cool. We'd never done that before. So
No, I
that was
never
fun.
have. So of all the places you've traveled, do you have like, I know you just said that you love that place, but do you feel like there's a certain state that seemed to be more, mystical and ghostly?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I don't know. Not really, but there's definitely places within, that we've gone that I don't know why I feel so drawn. I think I feel drawn to the time period. I swear I lived before, and that time period, I was probably a servant, but I just feel like it feels very home. And then when we went to Charleston, Wayne, we'd never been there before, and he knew his way around. Like,
Huh.
it was weird. I was like, he didn't even look at a map. He's like, oh, we go this way and we turn that way. I'm like, how do you know that? It was so weird. And I feel like he lived before too, like, back, and he doesn't feel that he was connected to Charleston. He's like, I don't have any kind of, but it was so weird. I've never seen him do that before or since. So I don't know how to explain that, but I do feel like within ourselves, maybe, that we all have a place where, super connected for
I
whatever
agree.
reason.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love that he had that experience, because I know he doesn't really do the paranormal. So like when somebody who doesn't has an experience, because I would call that an experience, right? Why does he know?
How does he know? Yeah, like it was weird the whole time we were there. I'm like, how do you know? And we had just like parked, and he's like, oh yeah, we got to go this way. That I'm like, how'd you know that? And I knew he hadn't looked. This was before phones. So I'm like, I don't even know how you knew this at all. It was weird. So
wow.
do
you think you guys lived in the same time period? Maybe? Do you feel like
I don't know.
Is he drawn to that time period too?
Not really, but when here we went to Carton Plantation, and it's it used to be on, all the ghost shows, but now they've shut that down. They don't really like to talk about their ghost stuff as much. But they do they were a Civil War hospital, and so they were sawing people and throwing the limbs off, and there's a cemetery there, and they do a lot of weddings and stuff. And we had just taken the tour, and we were coming out, and they were setting up. They have a beautiful property, or setting up for a I think it was a wedding, and Wayne got mad, and he's actually, of the two of us, the romantic, and he's like, this is so disrespectful. I can't believe they're doing this at this place. How and he's not like that either. So I was like, what is wrong with you? He's like, do you know what happened here? This just should be historic site, period. I was like, well, wow, okay, mister. So I think maybe he died in the Civil War, because he has a real visceral when we were in Atlanta, that happened to anything civil is triggering. It's like, it's almost like he's getting PTSD from it. It's weird.
Yeah.
So 3 times, if I think about that, because one time in Atlanta it happened, in Charleston, and I don't know that was Civil War. It was almost just like, maybe that's where he was from in his past life. And then when we were at Carton, so mad about that. He's like, that's so disrespectful. It's so vehement. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Settle down there.
Wow.
It's funny.
I love that. I also I don't know where I'm at with past lives, but it seems like it's possible just based on people's experiences. But there's the whole like DNA thing where it's like imprinted in our DNA. And
I
I
believe in
feel
that.
like even if we're like having memories or experiences because of our past relatives, that alone to me is still amazing. You
Yes.
know, to
Yes.
have an emotion or a memory that's not truly our own, but from a relative.
Yeah, just inherited. I think
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah.
it is. And
Yeah.
it's cool too because you're connecting with your ancestors. And like they talk about time, like all time is running the same. Like, so does it, intertwine? Is that another way that it's intertwining, That's a
Mm.
whole other show.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Thank
sharing your pictures and your stories. It was
Oh,
really
thank
fun
you. I
to get
didn't mean to
together
send I was
too.
like, "Oh my gosh, I sent you so many," but thank you, and thank you for I agree, it's so good to see you. Like, look,
Yeah.
you know?
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to have your dream interpreted, please go to thedreamsinterpreter.com. I will put a link below. And don't forget to check out my weekly dream symbols that are posted on YouTube Shorts and also all social medias. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.